This is live with the Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Miller. Special guest today is John Walters, and we're going to be talking about plumbing. So let's hear it, John. So the name of your company is Trenchless Sewer Repairs.
Trenchless Sewer Line Repairs.
Sewer Repairs. So let's first of all, let's talk about general plumbing issues, because so many homeowners and businesses have, typically it's the water is bubbling up.
Yeah.
So what is it people should do when they see bubbling up from the kitchen or from the bathroom or from whatever pipes they might have under there? What's the first thing they should do?
Well, maintenance takes away a big expensive bill. Like, you'll have a car for 5-6 years, but you change your oil on your car every 3 months. At least once a year, you should have your pipes cleaned out. You know, you have issues with the kitchen. You know, people tell me, oh, I don't use grease, but do you wash your pans? And what's on your pans? Grease. You might pour some of it out, but there's still residue, and over years, it adds up.
So you mean maintenance? What type of maintenance?
Well, there's different things you can do. I have a tool. It's called an Air Snake by Milwaukee. It's like compressed air. We pull the trigger and it clears the showers. Because with showers, people with long hair, they'll go into the P trap. It'll get filled, and that'll start causing problems.
Well, the P trap is like is that the U?
It's like a U joint that goes under the shower. It goes under your sinks.
So all the stuff that we put down our sink has to pass through this relatively tiny pipe, right? And sometimes down at the bottom, it sort of sits there.
It sits there.
And so even this little tiny stuff that's in our sinks, all right?
It adds up.
All right. And I was thinking about you last night when I was cleaning out a dish, and I'm thinking, nah, I'll let my wife do it. You better not, Michael. All right. And I went in, and actually it was herbs and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were strong little things, pencil point type of stuff. And I took a napkin, I cleaned it out, and I put that in the trash, because I understand what happens. So somebody can call you, which they should maintain that as we do. We brush our teeth every day or a couple times a day, and you put it there and you blow it out.
Well, one thing you can do, let's say the kitchen, you can come in and you get a boiling pot of water. You get like some degreaser. You buy some degreaser from Home Depot or Lowe's, whichever place you shop. Pour like half a gallon down there. Let it sit for 15 minutes. You get a boiling pot and you pour it down. And that'll clear up a lot of the grease.
So let's talk about people frequently take a Drano product. I use that as a generic thing. Tell us about that.
It's like acid. Imagine what acid would do to you. It'll tear up your pipes. You can always go, because somebody has they'll pour the Drano and they'll use those things. And as soon as you run the camera down the line, you can see all the times that they use it.
I was at a hardware store and I was asking for a product. They said, don't use Drano. It'll break your toilet. Do they mean break as in break the porcelain, or do they mean the pipes?
They mean your pipes, because usually there's only one valve on a toilet, and it's got a ball and it's got a lever. If you pour that, it really doesn't affect your toilet; it affects your pipes.
So let's talk about running toilets. They're not going anywhere, but the water keeps going. Typically, what can a homeowner do without having to call a plumber?
They just take the lid off the toilet, and you have like a ball, and you can adjust that ball so it goes up and down.
Yeah. So, and they can, if they need another, they could go to the hardware store, they can pick up a thing and be able to replace that.
Yeah.
By the way, that's our number one issue here, which is, why is that toilet running? And then what I realize is I'm following somebody through the building, all right? Yeah. And so somebody's been in there and it's just is running. What about a toilet that runs too long? What is that from?
Well, that's the float. It's a float that you have. You have those big black balls, and now they have the plastic ones that go up and down. And you could buy one of those for like $20. It's not a big deal to replace. There's a screw on the bottom.
Okay, and let's talk about the pipes that go from the inside of the house. They're PVC now, but there's also the old ones which are
cast iron,
and they go from underneath the house out to your septic tank or out to the sewer system.
Yes.
Tell us what happens to the pipes over a 20 or 30 year period.
Well, even PVC pipes can go bad, because what happens is when you lay the pipe on each connection, like every 20 foot, there is a connection, and sometimes smaller on houses. So you have where the glue comes off, or if they don't put enough glue, or they don't do it right, and that's not something you can inspect either.
So frequently think, okay, we just have to do this one time. No, man, something happens to the glue. It's like you paint your house and it's fine. You have a device that can help people that have cracked cast iron. And is that also, if the PVC pipes are not correct, that you can fix it?
I can come in. Like, sometimes you get roots going in because the roots will cause it to open too.
Yes.
And if they get keep getting like a little drip of water, it adds up. And the roots say, hey, there's food. And they go in there and they squeeze it and they pull it apart. So if roots can lift up concrete, what do you think they can do to your thin little pipes?
So you have a machine that goes in to clear out the roots. Well, tell us about when you say trenchless. So tell us about that.
Well, you have different areas where you can go in and you can work on a pipe. You can go through the roof, through the vent stacks. You can go through the toilet. And from the outside, you should have a clean out. A lot of people have them, but some people don't. On the older homes.
You mean the clean outs?
Yeah.
So there's a plastic, I think that's the term, but maybe it's not, that you can put on the inside of the pipes that sort of creates a new...
Well, we have different systems. It's an epoxy resin system, and there's different applications. You can apply it with a brush. You can spray it on. You can put a sleeve or a sock.
Okay, so how do you fix if you look with your camera, you put this pipe in there, you can look at it and you go, hey, you got a crack over there, you got a crack over there. So instead of tearing up somebody's house, what can you do?
Well, we come in and we run the camera and we check the condition of the pipes. We let the client know how their pipes look. We'll give them a video. And
you can show them, this is a root that's coming through.
Yeah.
And you can see it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what can you do then to fix that crack?
We have something called a miller. We named it after you because you guys do such a great job in the community. We named the tool after you.
Perfect.
That's probably why you have me on here.
Yes.
But we have the mini miller, which is you, and we got the maxi miller, which is Grant.
So what does it do?
It comes in and it bores open, it sands it down, it cleans it, and it changes the inside of the cast iron pipes.
So sometimes it's it's not a crack. It's just 50 years or 40 years of stuff growing.
Yeah.
So tell us about this plastic stuff that you put on the inside of the pipe.
Okay, it's an epoxy resin.
Okay.
And let's say we come in and we use the sleeve system. We'll come in, we'll saturate. It's like a sock. It looks like a sock. We saturate the sock. We put it inside the pipe, and then we blow it up with air. We let it sit for 4 hours, and you have new pipes.
So in the old days, you'd have to tear up the floor.
Yeah.
Which inevitably is a disaster because you're never matching the carpet. You're never matching the the tile, right? And it can go from the middle of your house. So you can go in, if you're going through somebody's kitchen, and you go, listen, right 10 feet away, the pipe is broken. So you can go ahead and you can put the sleeve in there that essentially creates a protective barrier from the pipe being cracked.
Yeah, because what happens is then you got an inside of the pipe, right? So you have the outside of the pipe, which becomes like a coat of armor.
Yes.
So, and then you have the PVC that's inside of it. And so now you have a new pipe that's stronger. So nothing's perfect. And you're always, no matter what you got, you're going to have problems. You got to do maintenance. And with this system, we say, hey, every 3 years, just flush it out.
By the way, we have some of that stuff in part of our building. And I just got to tell you, since then, we haven't had a problem. And I don't know how or why, but it's worked. So congratulations.
It's like magic, you know.
Yeah. So I was on your website. And what is your website address?
Trenchlessrepairs.com.
All right. And maybe Amber could find that and put that up there. So I see that you have these beautiful truck. And if it's a real boy toy, you must enjoy having that in your yard, right? So tell us about that guy.
Well, my wife won't let me park it at the house. But
that's a surprise, John.
I do go see it every night. I give it a kiss before I go to bed. It's a vac truck. And what we use that for is, like, let's say you have a shopping center, right? And when it rains, it gets flooded. Your storm drains get flooded. They get full of leaves and debris. And the same thing, we come in, we'll jet it out, we'll suck out all the debris, and it'll flow quickly.
So is that mostly a commercial application?
Mostly commercial application.
So big parking lots or cities, all right? And I've seen those guys in use. I've seen the city of Miami and Dade County. They go around as actually they were here last week in the middle of their street over there
Yeah.
with that big truck. That's what I called because we were the closest to it, so it caused some little air to come out.
Yeah.
So they were sucking that stuff, whatever happened to be down there.
Mm-hmm.
How do if it's not, how do the government know that there's a problem if it's not draining? If it's
They don't know unless it's not computerized, so somebody has to go by there and check. So what happens if somebody like their house keeps flooding? They should call 311 and they'll come out and they'll clean it up for you.
flooding from the
street. Yeah.
And that's not an unusual. We have a big parking lot over here, and I follow Facebook all the time, right? And I see where they go out and they rake the stuff away so it doesn't go in. One time we thought we had a major problem. The guy goes, "Come here."
Yeah.
Goes, "This is why." And it was as simple as the top of the grating.
Yeah.
Grate was had about an inch or two of leaves. That the water kept bringing more and more leaves, and that was the problem. And he did do it at some point years ago, suck that stuff out. So we see that the county, Miami-Dade County, wants to eliminate or control the number of septic tanks. We have 120,000 septic tanks down here. They want to be able to hook it up. Frequently, we see that some of these roads are collapsed. I'm going to get back to septic tanks in a minute.
Yeah.
And so people say, why did the roads collapse? And so what we hear is because the pipes underneath broke.
They fail.
That's,
so what happens is you get so much water passing through those pipes, right? And you get a hole in them. And then you get like a sinkhole because it'll wash away.
Because it keeps draining and draining.
It keeps draining and washing it away. Have you ever gone to the beach where you see the water and just pushes and it makes it erode?
So with septic tanks right now, if somebody's got a problem with their septic tank, that's not on sewer, it's demonstrated by the water's backing up.
Yeah.
The septic tank, right? That's metal or fiberglass or concrete or fiberglass. It's not that box in the ground that fails. Is that correct?
No, it's the leach field or the drain field.
Yeah. And so when people look at it, they go, if they walk out in that area and it's all wet, all right, they go, we got a problem.
Yeah.
So the water goes in and then it goes out.
Yeah.
Do sometimes when you have a field like that, does the ground go down at some point?
It does. It gets slower. It starts eroding away.
And so sometimes if you're bright enough, you can look at it and go, why is that happening? And we have one of those things.
Yeah.
Right? So if somebody has a problem in the house and you look in the pipes and the pipes seem okay, how do you diagnose it that it's a drain field problem?
Well, that's an easy one. We come in and we'll put water into the septic tank and we'll watch it. If it drains properly, we can tell. If it doesn't drain, we know it's got a problem.
For the guys, not the ladies, but the guys, there's a hole in the septic tank.
Yes.
And the water goes up to here, nothing happens. As soon as it goes to here, it drains out.
Yes. It's got a level.
Yeah. So the septic tanks are all but draining. The only time they drain is when the water goes above it. So when you go to put water in it, it's not like a big deal.
No. It should go into the drain field. I recommend people every 2 to 3 years, they empty their septic tank, depending on your use. Because what happens is when you get too much debris that goes into your drain field, it gets clogged. And there's really no way to clear it. So what you got to do in that case is you got to come in, you got to replace the drain field. And now they changed the law as of January 1st of last year, where it's a lot more expensive.
Yeah. So is there some product that people could put into their toilet or sink so they will help have less stuff going into the drain field? Anything realistic that matters?
They have things that you could pour down the drain. They have different products, and they'll come in, they'll eat the bacteria and everything. I really haven't noticed a difference in that. And
that's typically that goes into the tank, and it doesn't get into the drain field until it's filled.
Yes.
So it takes a long time for that gallon of stuff that probably settles down before it makes a difference here. So just so that people know about septic tanks, you have the tank and then you have your drain field. The product liquid goes and seeps into the ground. At some point it goes way deep, and then it goes into wherever it goes. the county has said, we want to change that, but it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. What the county apparently has to do is provide the infrastructure, so when somebody changes, the sewer pipe has to be there. I live in horse country. They ain't doing that for a long time because there's a big, wide properties. But in areas on northeast Miami, some of the septic tanks are below sea level. So tell us what happens when it rains a lot for those septic tanks that are very low.
It floods it. And what happens is the debris clogs up the drain field. It goes into the ground, and they really don't want that into the ground.
Yeah,
all the stuff. You know what kills more septic tanks is wipes. They tell you that the wipes are flushable, but they're not flushable.
By the way, I think of that all the time. All right, don't put that stuff down that toilet because it's gonna clog it up. And so when you go in with this device, it's what do you call it?
The miller.
The miller. It goes in. You can pull stuff out.
Yeah, I can.
It gets circular. It's like a circular thing, and you can.
I've got like grabbers, like.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, you can actually see it, and
Yeah.
you say, and you open it up, and it grabs it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! And you see that through a screen.
It's like a colonoscopy. You put the camera down there.
There you go, folks. Now we know what it's like. He's really a doctor, right? And you can go in, you can pull the stuff out. So the stuff that you pull out of there, those are wipes and what?
Oh, I see paper towels. I see wipes. You know, people. If it doesn't go in your mouth, don't put it in the toilet.
And so that means when we get really lazy, well, we'll just put it in. No, just don't put it in there. Including, you have the Lysol or whatever it is. Sorry, Lysol. These wipes that have disinfectant on them.
Yeah.
You don't want to put that in your toilet.
No, you don't want toilet paper.
Yeah.
It doesn't say toilet wipes. So you use toilet paper.
And there are certain marketing things I see in some of the toilet paper where it's septic tank friendly. I'm not sure what that means. All right.
It means that I'm going to make more money in the future. So it's friendly to me because it's gonna clog your system.
All right. Let's talk about how long you've been in the business and who's involved in the business with you.
Well, we're a family business. We've been around since 1997.
And so how did your children get involved in this?
They got drafted. They didn't really have a choice. I have one son and one daughter that work with me on a regular basis. I have nephews that work with me, and my daughter is an attorney, and she does all the legal stuff that we need.
That's wonderful. I met your son for the first time a couple of weeks ago. And he was here promptly. I want to thank you for sending him up because we thought that we had an urgent matter, which it was. We figured out because the whole building smelled.
Yeah.
And we turned out is because the city was out in the street doing some stuff. And we were concerned that, whoops, there was a problem. We were going to start bubbling. So your daughter's involved, your son's involved, and you have some nephews.
Yes.
So, John, how do you spend your days nowadays?
Answering calls, visiting clients, dealing with problems.
Yeah. So, and everybody at some point is going to have an issue with their sink, their toilet, their drain field, and stuff in those pipes.
But they have to remember maintenance.
Because,
you know, when have you flushed your lines?
Well, actually,
before you met me.
Before I met you, I don't know, a long time. And that's
Yeah.
why we had some problems. And I think for us as consumers, we have to get used to, we paint our house. When it needs again, we do it again. All right. We brush our teeth a couple times a day. All right. So those pipes, we don't maintain them because we don't see them until there's a problem. So people should really consider having a regular maintenance program. And if they don't know what to do, they can go online and they can find out, listen, every 3 months do this, every 6 months. And so we understand around Thanksgiving, lots of times that's the time where these pipes get really clogged up. Have you found that?
I get the most calls because what happens is somebody comes and they make a turkey, right? They take the turkey out. What do they do with the pan and the grease? They pour it down the drain.
Yeah.
You know? So Thanksgiving for us is like Christmas. One of our busiest times.
John, thank you for the service that you provide to us and to the people in Miami-Dade County since 1997. Again, if people want to find out about you, they can go to Let me see. The address is up there now. We got that right? Trenchless. There it is. All right, so people can go there, find out a lot about you. All right, you provide residential plus commercial,
Yes.
and continued success with that big truck sucking out those drains and keeping our streets clean.
Thank you.
John Walters, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it. We're gonna look right at that red camera, and we're gonna say right here, folks, thanks for joining us. Remember, take care of yourselves and your family. Have a good day.
Thank you.